up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for April 27th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Saturday edition of the podcast. We have a big sports weekend on tap, so let's get right into the podcast. As always, let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, which era was more disappointing, the Donovan McNabb Eagles era or the Dr. J Sixers era? And not surprisingly, 100% of you said it was the Donovan McNabb Eagles era. I guess winning that one championship does cancel out a lot of the frustration and disappointment for the Dr. J era. Just thought I'd throw that out there to see, because it certainly could have been a disappointing era. You could actually, if you really want to, a better comparison or a better comp would be either the 76 through 83 Phillies era or even the 07 to 2011 era, because they all won one championship. But as always, thanks for participating in the question of the day. There will be one later in the show. Quick housekeeping note. Yesterday, we had talked about Zach Wheeler going back-to-back starts, allowing one hit, and I had mentioned it only happened one other time in Phillies history, and that was in 1986. It was, in fact, Marvin Freeman, who was the pitcher who did that for the Phillies back in 1986. I told you I would look it up, so that is the guy. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mott, Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. Hit me up on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's grow this thing. We had a lot of growth this week, lots of interaction, so let's keep this train rolling. If you're interested in information about tickets for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony in November, the information is in the link in the description. And as well, if you're interested in being a sponsor or have anything you'd like to be included in the auction, does not have to be sports related, hit me up on that as well. We are getting near the end of the month of April. So what we've been doing this month in April, we've done the top 20 memories for the 20th anniversary of Citizens Bank Park. And then we did the teams with unfinished business. For May, our special segment is going to be, excuse me, it's a family affair. We're going to talk about siblings, fathers, sons, just families who played in Philadelphia, or siblings or whoever. And also there are 13 times that we're going to cover where Philadelphia had the wrong sibling that came to play for them. So stay tuned for that starting May 1st. All right, let's start with the Phillies. In case you missed it, you were asleep, I did not make it to the end of this game. Phillies won 9-3 over San Diego. Bryce Harper homered, so did Schwarber, JT, Brandon Marsh, and Nick Castellanos. The bats are starting to heat up out on the West Coast. Aaron Nola was outstanding, went 8 innings, struck out 10. So in case you missed that, the Phillies look good out on the West Coast. And I have to say, it's a toss-up between, are the Eagles City Connect jerseys worse, or are the Padres? I forgot how bad those things were. But good win for the Phils. They are, I would assume today that game is on a little bit earlier on a Saturday. I should have looked beforehand, but in case you didn't realize or remember, or didn't hear me the first 5,000 times I've said it, I hate when they play on the West Coast. The Union, remember them? They are back in action finally tonight after a little bit of a break. They're in Chester to take on Real Salt Lake. Sixers gearing up for that matinee tomorrow down at the Wells Fargo Center. Let's couple little last minute things to recap Game 3 that I heard yesterday. First is that Maxey really said that Joe's tone really led them, and he was sort of the catalyst for their play and being able to go after loose balls and things like that. And I think they talked a lot about it yesterday. I've seen articles. It was on a lot of the radio stations were talking about it. Joe has really kind of stepped up into that leadership role this year and really taking it serious and trying to to really silence the doubters and put the team and be the leader that we've kind of always wanted him to be. And then he did say he was trying to protect himself from Mitchell Robinson's falling on him. And again, it wasn't necessarily the smartest play, but I get it, man. This dude has been stepped on. He's gotten caught in straight elbows in the face to break his orbital bone in the playoffs. And it was a reaction, I'm sure. Probably could have handled it differently, but we'll see how that impacts the rest of the series. Like I said, I get it. I mean, this dude has had so many freak injuries, so with a guy going up to dunk and then possibly landing right on you, he's probably a little gun shy. So I get it. Hopefully they're able to replicate that energy level and just passion that they had during that game. And it all starts with Joe. So looking forward to that game tomorrow. Philly GOAT. I mean, they had a great week. And I'm sure with the Eagles draft and things like that, it's not going to end anytime soon. But man, they have the Philly Fanatic Feast Mode shirts. There's all kinds of Sixers shirts. They have the Joe shirts, all the Maxi shirts. I mean, you can go there and get everything you need. Don't forget about the Philly Connect shirts. So go to phillygoat.com. They have you covered. And they have the shoes, man. The shoes. So go check them out. Do a little shopping. When you check out, use the promo code Jim Montgomery, all one word, for 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery. Take 10% off. Get a Sixers shirt, an Eagles shirt, Philly shirt. Get a Union shirt while you're there, too. Why not? But be sure to use that promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. All right. Howie Roseman had himself a little bit of a night last night. I guess let's start back and recap some of the stuff on Quinyon Mitchell. And people were saying he didn't look happy. And then there was a story that he missed his he missed a phone call. Like he was flustered. And then I saw a video of him doing an Eagles chant. So everybody needs to relax. He's fine. He's happy to be here. I do think that the Toledo thing is really the only question mark I have on him, just the level of competition he had. It was pretty cool to see the video. I think it was on the Eagles website of Howie calling him. Then Sirianni got on, and then Jeffrey Lurie as well. I really I don't know, I like the behind-the-scenes stuff with that, even when they're in the people's houses and they call them and they're talking to them. And the guy for the Raiders was had a good one. So I don't know why. I like the draft calls and them talking to them and letting them know they've been drafted. I feel like it just gives it a human element. I don't know. And maybe that's just me being cheesy, but whatever. All right, so early on yesterday, Howie traded up with Washington to get the number 40 pick and took Cooper DeJean. I really, really want his name to be Cooper DeJean, but we'll work on that. What I like about this pick is, one, he was projected to go to the Eagles at number 22, so he definitely fell to them. And he's got flexibility. He can play the slot. He can play on the outside. He can. They're already talking about him possibly moving to safety. There's a lot of comps to Malcolm Jenkins. He can return. So I really like this pick, and he played in the Big Ten. Not necessarily a big passing conference, but Michigan could sling it last year. He played against them. Ohio State with Marvin Harrison Jr., Penn State even to a certain point. So I'd like this to add some depth to the cornerback room. But I don't know. Two draft picks in. We got two cornerbacks. Have flashbacks to 2002 when they took Lito and Sheldon. I don't know. And the same thing then. I mean, they didn't necessarily have a need that year. That was more building toward the future. But those two guys, I mean, they were able to get them both, and it worked out well. So if we get half of the production from Mitchell and DeJean that we got from Lito and Sheldon, that is, one, is good, and two, that's a step up from what we had last year. And then finally, Howie in the third round, ended up he kept trading back and trading back. But the dude they took, I forget his last name now. Jalix, edge rusher from Houston Christian. It's a small school. Don't really know much about him other than what I've seen on the videos. I mean, he seems to have, he has ability. It's just a matter of whether or not Jalix Hunt. It's just a matter of whether he's able to really transfer that into the NFL. I don't know. Again, I'll hold out judgment because I did not watch one Houston Christian game last year, so I can't comment on it. But I don't know. I mean, again, if you're not going to take a guy in the first or second round, he's a late third rounder, so maybe you take a chance on a guy with potential. It's still like an incomplete thing for now, but we'll take it. I mean, they addressed the secondary. Now, the secondary, there's a lot of cornerbacks, which everybody keeps saying, oh, the competition. And, yeah, I mean, in training camp and preseason games, the competition is going to be good. But Howie has to have something up his sleeve because there's too many guys making too much money. So there might be some trades or whatever happening. I don't know if they would completely do it, but maybe Bradbury and Darius Slay are not going to be here. I don't know. There's just a lot of options. I don't know. Maybe you do need a Slay to be that veteran presence. I don't know. Maybe they just say screw it and throw the young guys out there and let them go. But it should be interesting. They have options, though. I think that is the key. There's a ton of options that they have now. They have talent. A lot of it's raw, but it's there. So anxious to see what Howie has on the docket for today. But that leads us to today's question of the day. Through 2 days, 3 rounds of the draft. And really, at this point, moving forward, it's kind of you're just taking flyers on guys. You just don't know what. It's a crapshoot. But this is also where teams get built. But usually it's the first 3 rounds where you get the guys that should make an immediate impact. So after 3 rounds, how would you grade Howie Roseman and the Eagles draft? For me, with the unknown of Hunt, I think I'd give it a solid B. I think you got 2 of the top 3 cornerbacks in the draft, so you can't go wrong there. I think from the first 2 picks, that Ed Hunt is just like it would be an A for me if it wasn't for Hunt. But what do you think? How would you grade Howie Roseman's draft so far through 2 days and 3 rounds? I give it a solid B, possibly a B plus. But let me know what you think. 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Let me know what you're thinking. Also, too, how awesome is Brandon Graham? Detroit kid gets out there to announce the second-round pick for the Eagles, Cooper DeJean. I'm going to call him DeJean. Just get used to it. But he comes out and says, Detroit, and says, go blue. Does an Eagles chant, and then says, you already know, all day, Dallas sucks. You got to love a guy like Brandon Graham. And honestly, I think everybody talks about Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox retiring and all that. Brandon Graham is one of my favorite Eagles, and not just because he went to Michigan. He's just a funny dude, and that, to me, ranks up there with David Akers going at Dallas fans as well. And the fact that he just, matter of fact, go blue, go Eagles, Dallas sucks, let's get to the pick. Love it. But let me know, question of the day, how would you grade Howie's draft up until this point? 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. All right, today we're going to go back to the 2003. And on this day in 2003, the Phillies won 1-0 over the Giants at Veterans Stadium. It was the last year at the Vet. Their only run came in the first inning on a Ricky Ledee home run. Phillies only managed 4 hits that day total, but luckily for them, Kevin Millwood was on the mound and did not give up a hit to the Giants. Kevin Millwood was in his first season with the Phillies, only walked 3 and struck out 10 en route to the 9th no-hitter in Phillies history. And what is crazy to me, this stat, there was only 2 the entire history of the vet, and both of them were pitched by the Phillies. Kevin Green and Kevin Millwood, or Tommy Green and Kevin Millwood were the only 2 no-hitters in the history of the vet, as long as the vet was around, only 2 no-hitters. They have 14 total no-hitters in their history. Roy Halladay is the only one with 2, including that perfect game against the Marlins, and then the no-hitter of the Reds in the playoffs. Cole Hamels was close. He has 1 2/3 no-hitters. He had the one he had, and then he was part of a no-hitter by committee where he pitched 6 innings in 2014. But that 2003 Phillies team wasn't bad. They went 86 and 76, third in the National League East, 15 games behind the Braves. They finished 5 back of the Marlins, who won the wild card and actually won the World Series that year. That was the kickstart, in my opinion, of the golden era of Phillies baseball. They were in contention every year after that, just could never get over the hump. I know some people will go back to 2001 as the kickstart of that, when they also went 86 and 76, but they never were but they went back to under 500 in 2002. So I really think this 2003 season was the kickstart for that. But on this day in 2003, Kevin Millwood pitched the 9th no-hitter in Phillies team history, beating the Giants 1-0, walking 3, striking out 10. And the only run for the Phils came in the bottom of the first when Ricky Ledee hit a solo shot. And then I believe the Phillies went out west. This was a Sunday game, and then they went out west. So if you went to this game, you saw a no-hitter, but did not see much offense at all. But you did get to witness history. The 9th home run, or 9th no-hitter, I should say, in Phillies team history. Finally today, our Philly sports team with unfinished business is the 1986-87 Flyers. They bounced back after the year that Pelle Lindbergh died, and just the pressures and everything with that. They won their 3rd straight Patrick Division with a 46-28-8 record, which included a 29-9-2 home record. Ron Hextall won the Vezina Trophy, becoming the 3rd Flyer to do it. Bernie Parent, Pelle Lindbergh, and Ron Hextall. In the playoffs, they beat the Rangers, Islanders, and Canadiens. They met the Oilers in the Stanley Cup. They were down 2-0, forced to Game 7, and they just were. They fought. The Oilers were just a juggernaut, and for the Flyers to take them 7 games was great. Ron Hextall won the Conn Smythe as the MVP of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It was the 4th time someone did it in a losing effort. He was the 2nd Flyer to do it. Reggie Leach won it in 76. But after this season, the hopes were high. And unfortunately, Hextall just never captured that magic he had in 1986-87. Like, he had some moments. He became the first goalie to score a goal and then score a goal in the playoffs and all of that stuff, but just inconsistent throughout his career. And ultimately, could be part of the reason, I guess, of why the Flyers just never got where they were. I will give Hextall in his defense a little bit that the wrenches almost fell again. So that's why I'm doing that. They didn't necessarily have the greatest teams around him. And he just, I don't know if he was built to be sort of the workhorse goalie that they needed with some of the teams they had. But they just, the hopes were high. Anytime you're in the Stanley Cup and you get to Game 7, you're going to have some unfinished business. You're going to have some meat on the bone. That is why the 86-87 Flyers are today's Philly sports team with unfinished business. They were close, just never got over that hump, and they never got back. It would take 10 years before they get back to the Stanley Cup Finals. So The 86-87 Flyers are today's Philly sports team with unfinished business. On this day in 2003, Kevin Millwood pitched a no-hitter at the vet, one of two. It was the second and final one. The other one came, I believe it was like 1991. Tommy Green did that. But that 2003 to 2006 Phillies, they just were right there and just could never quite make a playoff run until Charlie came in and led them to the division title. Be sure to let me know, how would you grade Howie's drafts? 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. I'm giving it a solid B because Jalix Hunt, kind of a question mark, but I mean, late third rounder. I don't hate the pick. I hope that Vic Fangio had some input on this. All three picks, actually, and they can play and fit well into his system. Really putting a lot of trust on that coaching staff. So if Vic Fangio likes him, I'm okay with him. I still can't give it higher than a B, though. But let me know what you think. How great is Brandon Graham? Let me know how great Brandon Graham is, too, just because he's amazing. We'll have more on the Sixers-Knicks game 4 tomorrow. Check out Philly GOAT. I'm telling you, they have everything you need is covered. And I'm sure it's only a matter of time before there's like a Cooper DeJean shirt. So waiting for that. Phil's back in action today as well. Good luck to the Union. Go out. It's supposed to be a beautiful day. A little chilly. Tomorrow's supposed to be the better day. But go out and enjoy it. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Saturday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.